Greetings. Today I'm going to be working on a little project I thought you might like to see. I'm making a witch's ball. I'm going to give this gift as a gift at Yule for someone who is, well, a couple, actually, a young couple, who are just moving into a brand new home. So I want to give them a special little gift that is a protection for their home. First of all, before I get started, I want to just talk to you a little bit about what a witch's ball is. Now, I think if you've watched some of my other videos, you have seen me talk about witches' jars or bottles. I usually call them witches' jars. I interchange those terms all the time. And you've seen them, and you've seen me talk about them a lot of times and use them for protection. And if not, you can find them on, you can look for them on my channel. I'll try to remember to link some of those videos for you if you haven't seen them. But in my mind, a witch's ball and a witch's jar or bottle are two different things. Now, I know there are people who sort of use those terms interchangeably, and that's understandable, and whatever your practice is, that's fine. But for me, they are really kind of different. And I want to say, first of all, instead of a jar, I'm going to be using today, you maybe not can see it because it's a clear glass ornament, a clear glass empty, bought from a craft store, and actually we bought them in a package of 4. I picked it up. This was on sale for like, I think it was $3.49 or something like that for a package of 4, like half price. And we got it on curbside, so we just picked it up curbside from my big Michael's. And I'm glad I got the 4-pack because even though I'm going to use one today, I think I'm going to use another one. I'm going to make a special one for our bedroom. We've been remodeling our bathroom and bedroom area. And when it's finished, I think I might hang something down there for us. But beside that point, I'm glad I bought 4 because when I opened up the package, even though they're intact and we inspected visually through the frame that none of them were broken, the top, when you remove the little thing from the top, which I'll show you in a minute, the top of the glass was really messed up on a few of those. And when I'm going to fill it, I really didn't want to be messing with that rough edge because of some of the things that I'm putting inside. If I were putting hard things inside, it wouldn't matter so much when I'm putting some soft things, which might cause that problem. So I hand selected the best of the 4 for my purpose. Yeah, unnecessary information. But anyway, first of all, back to the topic. What is the difference to me between a witch's ball and a witch's jar? Now, witch's jar, witch's bottle, I say the same thing, which I've done before on my channel. I've never done a witch's ball before. So this is what I'm distinguishing a difference between. And for me, there are really 2 differences. Number 1 difference, a witch's jar, something that I've buried in the yard, is meant to ward off ill intent, to protect against harm. And it's full of all kinds of things like broken glass and bits of, and tangly things, webby things, rusted bent nails and things like that. It's supposed to attract negative energy to the jar, but if they go in, they're trapped inside. That's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. It's a spell that I put as a protection on my home. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm trying to attract, keep in mind, and I'm using negative, I'm like harmful things. Not necessarily harmful, but hurtful things. Yes, not pleasant, fun things. And secondly, I bury it. And they're either buried or I've showed you ways to hide them. So it's either buried or hidden. And the reason for that is then nobody can interfere with it. It can't be broken. It can't get broken accidentally if it's buried, really, for a long time. But anyway, it's hidden away from sight. So if anybody wished to interfere with the spell in any way, rather either a person or some kind of a negative entity tried to interfere with that, it would be difficult because to locate it would be difficult, and also to then get to it would be difficult. So historically these were hidden away always to keep that spell going, because the spell lasts until it doesn't. I told you, like, I had one, a witch's jar, that just recently came up in the house from the ground. So then then I think the spell was broken. We had to remove it, and we disposed of it properly off of the property, but then we replaced it with a new jar at another occasion. Okay, so those are two things that are a characteristic of a witch's jar or bottle that in my mind are not characteristic of a witch's ball. A witch's ball I do not bury, and I do not hide. A witch's ball is meant to protect as well, but it is normally meant to protect by there's pretty things inside, there's nice things inside. There are flowers or stones, crystals, or there are herbs or, these kind of things inside which have beneficial properties. These are properties, rather than to protect and to repel only, these are to attract pleasant things, to attract love, to attract health, to attract prosperity, to attract peace, to attract, these kind of things. And instead of being hidden away, it's usually hung either in a window or sometimes at this time of year, people use them on their tree because the tree's lit, and they're meant to reflect the light. They're meant to be pretty. So they're not meant to be hidden. They are meant to be beautiful. And because they reflect the light so well, this is another reason I like to do these at Yule, because Yule is all about celebrating the light of the season, returning the light, celebrating that light. It's going to be coming back into our lives, and what better way than through a witch's ball. So I thought this was very timely, and I'm going to just show you what I'm making for the ball that I'm giving. This is very personal to the person, but it's not just personal to the person. I didn't buy anything for this. I used what I had on hand. I used things that I got from my garden, or things that I got from my pantry cupboard or whatever that would serve my purpose. And so I'm going to attempt with the ball, I'm going to attempt to put them inside. Now, as you can see right away before we start, I think you can guess that we're limited to being able to get what will fit in the little hole up here at the top of the ball. Okay, which is very small, so some things will not go through. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us, and I'm going to give you a couple little pointers about that after I change my camera. Okay, first of all, I will show you the ball again a little bit closer up. As you can see, they don't quite make these the way they used to. It's the top is, I'll take the top off. The top is really fragile. In the older ornaments, this piece of metal around here, this was metal, and was very substantial, and some of them were quite beautifully ornate. I have some vintage ornaments and antique ornaments that are really beautiful and well made, but this is very cheap, so you want to take precaution. You want to handle this with care. So anyway, I'm going to just set this aside for right now and show you my ball. And here we can see the better idea. The ball, I can fit my small finger. My fingers may be a little large, but I can fit my small finger, pinky finger in just a ways. And the edge here was so rough. It's still pretty rough over here. But the other ones were rough inside, and I was afraid that things would be damaged as I put them in. Okay. But in selecting, first of all, before you select what you can put in here, of course you want to select things of the right properties, but you want to take care, because some things, like I was thinking, we have roses, and I always am saving roses and flowers, a lot of flowers from the garden, and I had some beautiful little rosebuds, perfectly dried, because I pick them and I'll put it against my shirt, maybe you can see it better. And it was just a perfect little rosebud that was laying in a dish drying, which I use all the time. I keep them that way. But as you can see, in order for me to fit it into this hole, it just doesn't fit in the hole, does it? It's way too big. Now, I could squeeze it to get it in the hole, but if I squeeze a dried flower, it's just going to crumble. So this is of no use to me this way. I could take the petals off if I want the flake of the red in there, and that would work. But I do have some fresh, here's little miniature roses from the garden, which are soft, and it's possible I might be able to slip them in the hole if I put them together. We're gonna try. I'm not sure it's gonna work. And here I even have a little smaller one. A little smaller one that might fit in nicely. So I do have some things that fit in. I also have some things, so I have some roses. I have little tiny shells. I wanted to look little tiny shells, and I'll tell you when I put them in what the properties of these are, in case you're interested. What magical properties I attribute to these for the purpose of what I have. I had some lavender flowering in my garden. I think this is I have two kinds of lavender. I think I just have this one kind in there right now, which I think is I get them mixed up if it's French or English. But it's lovely. It smells lovely, and the leaves, both the leaves and the but they're soft, and I can see flowers, and I can also have the bed of leaves, which we'll talk about in a minute. I have that. I have, of course, my marigolds, which are nice, beautiful flowers that I love, which I might be able to fit some of those in. I'm not sure. I have rosemary, and my rosemary, I can see I'm not even holding that in the camera. That's very terrible. There we go. My rosemary is flowering, which would be pretty. I've won both flowering and non-flowering. There was the lavender again that I showed you. The marigold, some more lavender. Different size marigold. I have lots of this if I have to go get more. I also have morning glory, which I thought morning glory we'll talk about in a few minutes. Now, since I brought this in, this was open, but the thing about marigolds, of course, once you get it out of the sun, it closes up, which is part of the beauty of it. And there they are, already closed. I have some thyme, and I have some mint, a little bit of mint in here as well. These are all from my garden. And let me just move that for a second. I also have some of the orange peel that I dehydrated, if you saw my last video, and some of these pieces are very small, would blend very nicely. I also have some cinnamon sticks, which I can maybe fit a cinnamon stick in there, I'm pretty sure. And then I do have a few gemstones, which would be perfect in there, small sizes. Here's citrine, and here is sodalite. So we'll be talking about those. I think I'm going to try to fit these things in my witch's ball. Okay, so let's see now we're going to talk about the next thing that I want to talk about is, first of all, we want to talk about weight. Like if I put some of these pretty flowers in there, and do get them in there, and then I throw some of these stones in there, it might crush. So we want to consider weight. We want to consider also if I put in some leaf from the lavender, it would make a nice bed for things. But if I put it would also cover up. If I put stones, they might fall down through. So I just am going to play with it and try to get it to place so that it looks as nice as it can. Of course, the property is the most important thing, and as it gets moved around, things will move around, of course, in the ball. That's just inevitable. But what I have to place, a tool that I have to place things is I have two different tools here. These are both long neck tweezers, I think they're called. This one is has a bent. Can you see it if I put it there? You can see it's bent. A bent neck, I guess it's called. And then I have a straight neck, or straight ones. And both of these will go down in the ball. I can get them in the ball. And I can use that to relocate things or move things down that are in there that have gone inside. So I'm going to just mess with it and see what happens. Okay? And I'm using this bowl for purposes just to kind of hold it upright while I'm working on it. Because I thought maybe you could see a little better. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can or not, but we'll give it a try. So, what am I going to put in it? Well, I'm thinking, the one thing I'm thinking I was going to do first is I like the idea of laying a bed inside it first. And I have this bed of, I have lavender and I have rosemary. The lavender and rosemary, let's see. I should just take things out of here so I can see what I have. There we go. But I thought if I laid something in the bottom, I might be able to, you know, just a bed of things on the bottom might help. And then I can situate things on top. So, what do I have that's short? I thought I had a piece of rosemary that was short. Just to see how that goes in. On the bottom, let's see. So, I'm going to cut because I was just wondering if it could, if I can almost let that bend up a little bit. If I put that in there. Now some of these leaves are going to fall off, but it's very fresh. I just cut it, so it should work. There we go. Let's see if I can push it in. Let me get maybe a pencil. The pencil's pointy. Let me see. Maybe a pen. There we go. And then I'm going to just try to maneuver that a little bit. Bend that around a little bit. And there we go. See, now you can see the leaf. And that's visually attractive, isn't it? Push that down a little bit. There we go. You see? Now it's coming up on the sides. Okay? So so that's rosemary, and that's pretty nice. I'm going to save maybe some of the flowering rosemary for the top. I also have this is pretty long, this morning glory vine, which is still hooked up to the leaf. I don't know if I want the leaf or not, but I think I might. Now, why would I put morning glory vine in it? Morning glory vine is not something that you normally associate with the witch's ball, but I love a morning glory vine because it is so persistent. A lot of people, you love it or hate it. I have a love relationship with morning glory vine. I love it. But I do know it's very invasive and it grows all over everything, which is one of the reasons people hate it. And I think I mentioned to you about a year ago, or not quite a year ago, I think last spring, my children came and did some work in the yard for us in our backyard. And my family was kind of very judgmental about the morning glory vine. One of the family members actually was of ours. He just wanted it gone. He would have been happy if it was absolutely gone from the property completely. And I just really, I love it. I just love a morning glory vine so much. And he tried his best to get rid of it. And it's everywhere. It's growing back. It's even growing back in places it was not growing before. It has persistence, which is what I love about it. It will overcome anything. If it is determined to grow, it will grow. And I really wish this for my... the gift, this is for the people that this gift is for, this overcoming all obstacles in front of them, whatever's there, to just be persistent and find their dreams. So I'm really interested in putting morning glory in their bottle. But I want to show you that even though the leaf would be very nice in there, that leaf is so huge, the morning glory would be lost. But I am going to cut it back a ways because I like the way this bend in the morning glory is. And I might be able to use that. If I can't use it, I will just put it underneath. So I will carefully try to get that in. And that goes in, and you see now that it's closed, it's working in my favor. But I have to be very careful. The delicacy of, and I find a pen is almost kinder than a pencil because, and there we go, if it's just laying, I could try to open that up, but you know, in Morning Glory, it's just not going to open up. It's going to stay closed. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I will gently free it if I can. Yeah, I freed it up a little bit in the bottle, okay? And I think I'd like a touch of that on the other side. I happen to have, this one's not so pretty, but this one is still very pretty. And I think I'm going to try to put that in as well. But I'm going to cut the bottom. I don't need this big long stem on it. So I'm just going to cut that off and try to put that in there. And you see, I wanted to go on this side, so I wanted to go here. And I'm just going to very carefully try to ease it in as best I can. This stuff is all going to dry, and it's all going to, but remember, it is the intention that we care about. It's not necessarily just the beauty. Of course, we want something to be pretty, but the touches of color are going to be lovely. Okay, now before I go any further with flour, I think I want to put some of this lavender flower on the bottom. Some of these little lavender, boy, the smell, oh my goodness, the fragrance in here is wonderful. Because it's a different texture, of course, than the Morning Glory, so that'll look beautiful. But also, why do we care about lavender? Oh, everybody cares about lavender. Lavender is wonderful. Lavender is really good for, it's a cleansing and a purification herb. It also it encourages strength, in which we want and love, but it also it makes a very calm, peaceful environment, which we want. We want this home for theirs to be a place. It's their safety place, the place of safety against the world, right? So we have lavender in there. We of course want a lavender flower, but I'm going to wait on the lavender flower because I want to put a bed. Before I get carried away, I want to put some of these other flowers, see if I can get them in. Here I have this pink rose or a white rose. I could try the white rose at the bottom. Oh no, before that, let's put in some gems. Let's put in a cinnamon stick. Oh, I should have done that earlier. Get the cinnamon stick. Oops. Okay, I cut there because I wanted to find, I slipped this one in, it looks pretty nice, but I found when putting them in, shorter is better than longer. Fatter does not matter. Shorter is better because it will make the turn better. So I'm going to put a shorter one in and let it fall a little bit where I want it. There, that'll work. I've got two in there. What else do I want in here? I want to insert some of these orange pieces. So what does orange do? What is the purpose of orange? We have oranges. They're good for cleansing and vitality, of course. But what I like about them is they have this type of energy about them that is like what we would call a renewal energy. And this is all about the new energy that goes in the new house. So a renewal, it calls for renewal energy. The problems that they had in the past house left behind, and this is a whole new slate. We start fresh. So orange is a really good, addition for the witch's ball. So I'm gonna have strips because strips go in very nicely. So let me see what I have for strips of orange. And they add a nice texture to it as well. Lovely color. I think I'll just put some in later. I don't want to put them all in the same place. So I have a possibility. Maybe there's somewhere. I'll just put them aside. I'll put them aside, and because I want to kind of layer. I don't want everything in the same way, the same place. So now look if you can see how pretty we're getting. I hope you can see it because it's really lovely. My light might be terrible, which of course it always is, but there you might be able to see it there. I have my little desk lamp here, my trusty Ott light. Okay, I want to put some more flowers in here. That's where we go. Oh wait, I have this mint. I want to get the mint in. I have this little piece of mint, which, oh, it's driving me crazy. It smells so beautiful. Mint is lovely. And mint, I love a lot about mint because mint is especially good when you're putting a protection on a home or a blessing on a home, because it's also, first of all, it's really good for psychic communication and protecting and increasing strength, increasing a person's strength, protection against bad luck or overcoming obstacles. That's a very good use for mint. But the other thing it does is it aids in verbal communication and removing obstacles and being able to speak clearly. And I have two things that I have. The morning glory will help to add strength to your words, and this will also add strength in your communication skills and being able to communicate. So I'm going to put those two things in. That's a real important part. We have two people living in this house, and we want to make sure they're on the same page and they understand each other. So I'm going to just carefully slip it in. And you see, since it's fresh, it slips in really well. Now, what are you going to do living in climates where you don't have fresh herbs? Well, you have the grocery store. And everybody in the grocery store, those little packages of herbs work wonders. They work wonders for having fresh herbs. They do have mint. You'll find all kinds of things like mint and basil or bay leaf. You can get bay leaf is a really good one to put in there. I might add a piece, or I'm not sure if I'm going to add bay leaf or not. I have enough of other things. But anyway, I want to put a couple stones in there, talking about communication. I have here some sodalite, blue sodalite here. And sodalite is really good for communication as well. And I've got all different sizes, and it's just such beautiful colors. So I'm going to maybe put a couple of these in. And they're heavy, so they might sink to the bottom, or some might stay up on the top. We'll see. I want to get the most colorful ones I can find. I move into my light. I'm going to just dump some out. I don't want to dump them all out, but I like to pick. Oh, this one's really pretty. Will that fit in the hole? Will that fit? Yes, it will. Okay, so that one's good. I'll put that one in. And some of these that'll fit well. I like the interesting shapes. Something round. That's too big. That's too big. Also, some are very light. You know, it's just playing. You're just going to play with it. You're not going to worry about it too much. There's no rules in witches' balls. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just drop some of these in, because some are bigger than others. Oh, I thought that was going to fit. It will fit. And I maybe will put some of those. See, it sank there. It fell into the side there. I'm just going to try to put them in different places so that they want it to be all around. And none of these will go to waste. Whatever I do not use, I will dry and keep use it in the house. Okay, let's see. Now I have some other flowers in here. I think I want to add some of these, oh, here, I want to put a rose. I want to see if I can get this pretty rose to go in. Because if I close it up carefully, it might fit. And this is one of the reasons, you see, let me get this out of the way. This is one of the reasons that I said I wanted to make sure this was a smooth edge, because when I put something like that in, if it was rough, it would just rip my beautiful rose all apart. I'm going to just try to tuck it in as best as I can. And if the petals fall off inside, that's okay. They might anyway when it dries. But there we go. And I'm just going to take it in carefully. Oh! I'm sorry. Oh, that worked so well. I'm so excited. That is just beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay. Now, rose. Why do I care about rose? Well, we know about rose. Rose is all about protection, and it's against anger. It protects from angers. It protects from nightmares. It protects from evil eye. It provides good luck, and most of all, love, which we want all of those things. While I'm putting that in there, before I put any more of the fresh flowers in there, I'm going to take some of the petals off of this really pretty rose bud that I could not use, because it's beautiful petals of red. And I want to see if they will go in. Carefully. I think they will. At least some of them. Oh, they will. So that's an option. So I have fresh and dried, and of course it's all, remember, going to end up dried in the end. Can I change this light without bothering you? There you go. So I can see. It's a very dark time right now. It's dark and kind of cold. Seems like I'm apologizing every day for the darkness. But we've had some rain and some... Okay. I'm just trying to get this, done, and I want to provide the color. It doesn't matter where it is located in the ball, but we want to make it as aesthetically beautiful as we can. So I'm going to just pull this off. You see how lovely roses dry. I mean, I hope if you've learned anything from me, you learned that, oh my goodness, you can just dry flowers. Just put them in let them dry. And then you have them for all time. No need to get rid of them. Everybody I know is always throwing out roses and throwing out old flowers. Why would you do that? They have so many wonderful properties. So many wonderful properties. Okay. And they're the properties, and you cannot burn them, when they're fresh, you cannot burn them. But if you want to ever burn them in incense blends or anything like that, you have to dry them. So, I'm going to try to get one down. Kind of this part. Looking at me, if I can. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're getting pretty full. I don't have to fill it. I have some pink flower here, which is kind of spent. It's not really that beautiful, but I like the color. So I'm going to just pull some of the petals off of it. As a matter of fact, I might put the flower in and take some petals off. This will go back. This is all going to go back in my pantry, in my parlor. I'm going to take some of these brown petals off the outside and see if I have a pretty center that will go in, that will slip in, because they stand up a little bit better when they are on the stem. Okay, there's an ant. Goodbye, ant. Sorry. Okay, so let's see, where do we want it in here? side over here. We'll try. I don't know how well you can see it, and I don't even know if this is helping you, or even, you might think I'm ridiculous trying to share this with you. It's close work, and my camera angle is not good, but I want to see when I leave the stem on, I have the ability to pick it up and move it a little bit once it's in. And I wanted it here. No, I didn't. I wanted it this way. There we go. Wanted it that way. Beautiful. Now, I want to be sure to add some. I'm going to put that one on the top. I can add some more orange peel if I want. I don't need that one. I also have some shells. Shells are really important because, you know, my friend, I'm going to say it's from my daughter Abby, who has moved, and she grew up here in Southern California. She's very close to the ocean. She loves the ocean so much. And even now where she is, she's still the same ocean, just different beaches. But she resonates very strongly with the ocean. And of course, a seashell is a protection. It's a good protection. It's also a good. Has the properties of prosperity and also love. But what I like about it, it is a gift. It is a gift reminding us of the gifts that we received from both the land and the earth and the water. It is a combination. It is from the sea. It is a home to creatures in the sea, and of course, it is then given to us. We collect them in the land. So I like it, and I have these little tiny ones. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see them. Some of them will not even fit. I had trouble finding ones that would fit. But I have little teeny ones here. 3 little teeny ones I can put out here that are perfect shells. Can you see them? They're perfect shells, and they will fit through the hole. So that's what I'm going to put in. So I'm going to add those, even though you won't be able to see them. We know they're in there. The magic that they bring is in there. Okay, so I did that, and I have let's see, I still have marigolds I want to put again. This one seems to be maybe a little big, but this one is nice size. I think I will put that one in. I just need to cut some of that stem. I don't want that stem. And let's see if that'll go in. It's like trying to build a ship in a bottle, isn't it? Because that's, I think, how they do the ships in the bottle. They build them, and they're collapsed, I think, and then they put something in there to set them upright. I believe. I've never done it, but here we go. So now that I put that in there, I kind of messed up my other flower, so I'm going to just pick it up. I don't want to squish things. Just want to pick it up a little bit so that it is free to be. And all that's left here, I have a little bit of rosemary. I have some thyme, which will just go down. Tuck down in, and thyme, we like thyme because thyme is, thyme is really good for protective. It's also good for courage. And the interesting fact about it, historically, it is known as the knight's herb. And the interesting which of course we associate with courage, but it's also personal to the people that it's for. The charm that this is for, because the husband, or my daughter's husband, is a knight within the SCA, so that's his herb right there. And I have lavender flower, a little of the rosemary. I'm going to just cut some of this rosemary. Rosemary is lovely. Everybody knows about rosemary. I don't have to go on about that. I just need a short piece though. But rosemary, everybody knows, is for remembrance. It's good for fidelity, and also, but it'll attract good energies. It'll attract fairies. It supposedly will attract fairies, and also it is for remembrance and fidelity, and it is good. For that reason. Oh, and I meant to point out that the marigold, the other reason we wanted the marigold in there, did I even talk about the marigold? Marigold, we know from leftover from Samhain, how it's attracted. That's one of the reasons we use it as Samhain, and they use it for the Day of the Dead celebrations and attracting the ancestors to return at this thin time of the veil, is because of the strength, the ties, it strengthens the ties between the living and the dead. And also between just the living, you know, it's really, it's very useful for keeping ties. So remembering where she's from, I want Abby and Jay to remember their ties to their family, where they came from, the ties that they have made through their lifetime, and to each other. So that's why that's in there. I have the lavender flower. I'm just going to use little pieces. I don't want too much because it's want it to look nice as well. I don't want to crowd everything. So I can tilt this over this way. This is really nice and full, isn't it? This can make a lovely gift. There we go. And then I have one last little rose to go on the top. One last little baby rose to go on the very top. Okay. I can get it in. It's hard for me to work with these little small things because my hands are a little stiff and my there we go. So now I think you can see, if I get this out of the way and I hold it in the light, can you see that in the light? There we go. It's really nice and full, isn't it? It's beautiful. Now some of that, of course, remember, I'm making it full because by the time it is dried, it will shrink down a little bit, you know, it'll shrink down. But right now it's lovely, and I'm going to put the top on it, but that's not going to be all, because I want to, oh, there we go. There, I put the top on, so she can hang that. But I want to, I'm going to wrap this with some jute at the top and make it a nicer, and probably hang a little charm on the front, which I will do, and then I will come back and show you when I'm done, what I have done. Okay. But I want to point out that another reason that I do like these little balls is, even though I have fresh things in here, and you would think, well, is it going to mold? Well, it shouldn't mold because we have the hole where this top was, where the apparatus, the hanger, is a slit, so air is going to be able to go in there. If I had a question that it was not going to dry enough, I might want to punch another hole or two up in this top. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's going to be fine because it's going to still be like 2 weeks before I give it as a gift, and we have a pretty dry environment here, so we'll just keep an eye on it. But isn't it lovely? I think it's lovely. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera and wrap the top. I'm just going to use some jute. I have some jute um, simple jute, which I'm going to wrap around the top, and I'm going to glue it, and then I'm going to put on, to seal the spell, and then I'm going to put on a, probably hang a little charm on there. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm all finished, and I'm going to show it to you. But before I do, I wanted to mention that I was looking for charms to hang on the top of it. And while I was looking, I found some amethyst, some small amethyst chips that were the perfect size to go in there. And I really wanted to add amethyst to it because amethyst is really good for balance. It's good for wisdom, bringing in wisdom. And I wear amethyst a lot because it helps me maintain my balance. And we're talking about two young adults who are very, very busy and have a lot of things going on in their lives. And if there's one thing they need to maintain is balance. That's for sure. So I was really happy to find that. I wanted to show you the finished product. I also, when this charms, I'm going to hold it up this way. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going to maybe put some light on it there. I don't know if that's too much light or not. But it just looks lovely. It really, really, really looks, oh, lovely. I'm very excited about it. And the charms on the top, I guess that's not too good. I'll just hold it frontwards so you can see. Maybe I can bring it up a little closer. I happened in my little charm, you know, I told you I keep little boxes of trinkets and charms that I use for all kinds of things. But I found this little charm in the front, in one of my boxes, that has this sigil on the front, and the back it says, "A new beginning," which is perfect for them, for their new home. I also found a little charm of a dragonfly, which a dragonfly is really good because a dragonfly is a symbol of adaptability and you know, strength, because the strength to adapt, and the wisdom to be able to adapt to things. It's used by a lot of cultures around the world, but also it is a very good symbol, sigil, to help you distinguish between what is real and what is illusion. And this is a particular wish I wish for these people because particularly my daughter, she gets very excited very easily about projects and things, and I want her, you know, just to be able to take her time and to have that you know, the sense to just to take your time and to see, is this something I really want to do, or do I just think I'm going to do it right now and might not be a good idea? So that's why I'm having that on her, to remind her of that, and I will tell her that when I give this to her. And then of course I put a little bell on. I hang bells all over my house and on everything. You've seen me do bells before, and this happens to be a bell that's left over from my college days. I had these bells, I wore them all over things, and I've been using these bells since, just for that purpose. Okay, so this is special. I just want to remind you, this is a special protection gift meant for a couple, a young couple in their new home. These kind of things you can do anywhere. You can do for any reason, and any purpose, in any situation. Do it for your own, do it for yourself, do it for others. But use your do some research. See what you have around available to you first. Don't worry about trying to find what I have. This is just what I had in my yard. If you don't have things fresh, this is the perfect time of the year to find things. You can always get the herbs. You can always get gemstones, or you probably have charms laying around. It doesn't have to be what I have. You can use simple salt. You can use simple, whatever you have on hand. But just do some research and find out the properties and see how can that apply to what your desire is, what your intention is for your witch's ball. Thank you so very much for watching, and let me know if you make a ball of your own. I am Rebecca, and I wish you blessings.